surplus by 2021? Well, one group of lawmakers says it is possible with a simple plan. $4 trillion in new taxes for the wealthy, an end to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the revival of the health care public option. It's called the People's Budget. It was submitted yesterday by members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. And joining me now is the co-chair, Congressman Raúl Grijalva. Good to see you again, Congressman. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you.
All right. You know, Republicans say new taxes aren't happening. Same for the public option. The president, who ran on getting out of wars, has found it more complicated than expected. So how do you do this? Sell me your plan.
Well, the plan to me is very simple, in that we really feel that we tracked our budget, and the core of the proposals that were recommended are things that the public supports. Public opinion poll after public opinion poll supports the four tenets of our budget. Cutting health care costs through a public option, military spending, and taxing the upper 2% and getting rid of subsidies and tax breaks for corporations, where the majority of the revenue will come from. They support that. But they also oppose eliminating Social Security, changing Medicare, dismantling Medicare, Medicaid. They don't want education to be unaffordable for their families, and they want job training and job creation immediately.
Well, for
our
the
budget
reasons
incorporates that.
For the reasons that I laid out, it's clear that the Republicans are not going to jump on board with your plan. But on the president's side, and I just asked Donna Brazil, the new interim head of the DNC, about this. I said, what about progressives who want the president to go in a different direction? And she said, look, they're going to support the president because by the polls, 90% of them like what he's doing. So where do you get your influence? Where do you get your mojo to push this through?
We feel that we have public opinion on our side. We feel that the American people are frustrated that what happens here in Washington is that we negotiate around the edges. And the core issues about our financial crisis and the economic policies remain the same. The tax breaks that were given and extended, the corporations that don't pay taxes, the top 2% that are going to get increased tax breaks, those are still at the core of our economic policy and the reason that we're in the deficit that we're in. We are going after those areas, and in doing so, I think you will see more and more of public opinion is on our side. We listened to the American people, we responded. The fact that the power players in this town don't want to even give serious consideration to our budget doesn't mean that it lacks legitimacy or that it can't stand the test of scrutiny.
Well, let me read to you, if I can, Congressman, the analysis by Dana Milbank in the Washington Post. He wrote, the real target, in talking about your budget, the real target is President Obama, who the progressive sphere will capitulate and negotiate a deal that cuts heavily into entitlements and social programs. So is this really less about thinking you're going to get this plan through and more a message to the president to avoid making concessions to the Republicans?
Yeah, part of it, honestly, is public opinion. I don't deny that. And our budget is as much about forcing people to come to the reality that there is an agenda that the American people want satisfied. Nobody's listening to it. The GOP is not listening. The administration is taking steps toward listening. Our budget listens and responds. And we feel that public opinion, certainly the calls we're receiving from grassroots organizations across the country, say this, finally, we have a budget we can support. And we feel good about that. And if that pushes people toward acknowledgement of what's in that budget and incorporates it into the future, then that'll be something that'll be worthwhile.
Congressman Raúl Grijalva, thanks so much. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.